Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the next video in the Gravit Designer tutorial series. So when you start up Gravit Designer free on the web, this is the welcome screen that you're greeted with. So up here at the top, you can go ahead and customize whatever size canvas you want. You can choose the width by the height, and you can change it from pixels to whatever you want. So pixels and inches will be the most common one. You can also leave it completely blank and you can get an infinite canvas and just keep designing and designing, and that's great for brainstorming and prototyping. Then of course down here you have a whole bunch of really popular templates. For my particular students, print, web and desktop, and print on demand and social media will probably be the most common ones. We're going to go ahead and just come over here to print. And we're going to choose A4, which is the normal size sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, so this video is going to be basically about sort of a tour interface, so you can kind of see where things are. So first things first, my Gravit Designer is set to the dark theme. You can change that by coming up here to the Edit menu and coming down here to settings, and you get a whole bunch of settings, but right here in the middle you can change it from dark to light. Okay, and then click on Save Changes when you're happy. If you have the paid version, then you get a third option, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so here's our canvas in the middle here. When you have nothing selected, you could come over here, and on the right hand side this is what's called the Properties panel. And over here, you can actually change the color of the canvas. You'll see if I click on this white circle here and I choose just a color, you'll see I can go ahead and change that. Go ahead and change it back. I can also change the width and the height here. So if you made a mistake, you can do that. Right here, it says page size, and I can go ahead and click and I can choose a few more options. Okay, so let's start over here on the top left. So up here on the top left, we've got all the standard menus, so File, Edit, etc. So under File, you can choose New and create a brand new one. You can open an existing project. You, of course, can save, import, export, etc. Under Edit, probably the most common things are going to be paste. You'll be able to cut and copy, things like that. All right. Directly underneath the menus is going to be this toolbar here, and this is going to be the toolbar that you'll come to for a lot of buttons and creation tools. So creating shapes and combining those shapes and doing text and all that kind of stuff. So when you want to create this toolbar up here, it's going to be where you want to go. Over here on the left hand side, we've got three tabs: Layers, Libraries, and Symbols. We're going to use Layers in this tutorial. So under Layers, you've got two sections: Pages and Layers. We're just going to focus on Layers. So Layers is a lot like any other layers program you've used: Photoshop, Pixlr, Krita, etc. You'll see all of your layers over here. They'll show up. You can delete them, you can view them, hide them, you can select them, all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do the basics. So up here at the top where we have our creation tools, I'm going to come to this tool right here. It's just called the Shape tool. And if you click on the little downward arrow, you're going to see some of the basic shapes. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the rectangle shape. And if you wait a little bit, it'll show a little tutorial animation, which is really helpful. And you'll see over here some hotkeys on the right hand side. So if you want to start memorizing those, that will help you out. I'm going to just click on rectangle. And if I click and drag my left mouse button and let go, you'll see that I make a rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and click on the rectangle tool again, and this time if I click and drag but then I hold down the shift key, it'll make a perfect square. The length and the height, the width and the height will be the same. Okay, so anytime you hold down a shift key, you'll make a perfect square or a perfect circle. I'm going to go ahead and make a circle now. So I'm going to come here to the ellipse tool, which will allow me to make ellipses, but if I hold down the shift key, I can make a perfect circle. So you can see here that the default color is a base gray. Again, I can click on any one of these shapes, and you'll see over here under the layers, I now have 4 layers, and they're just called what the tool was. I can also click on them over here on the left, and then that will highlight them as well, just in case you don't know what's what. So when you click on a shape, you can then come over here, and under the inspector, you can see interesting, important information about it. So I can see where it is on the X and Y canvas. I can see the size, width, and height. I can see the angle. So for instance, under the angle, it says 0 degrees. Well, I can click on that, and I could type in 45 and press return, and now it's a perfect 45 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And to undo it, you can come up here to the buttons bar here, and I can just click on this undo. To undo on the keyboard, you can also do Control Z, or you can do, on a Mac, you can do Command Z. If you're on a Chromebook, Control Z will undo. Every once in a while, you're going to see this, please save to the Gravit cloud to enable auto save. And you can say, don't show this again. If you choose save to the cloud, that's really nice because you're going to see this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to come down here where it says untitled, and I'll call this beginner demo. Okay, and I'll press save. And now because it's on the cloud, I could, of course, can open this up and work on it anywhere. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and select a shape. And I'm going to come over here, and you're going to see a category over here called fills. And if I click on the little white circle, or sort of the grayish circle, I can go ahead and choose any color I want. And I can click down here with the hue bar and choose any color I want. Okay, so I'll go ahead and choose that color blue. And again, any shape, doesn't matter. I can choose whatever hue I want. If I come over here and click on this rectangle and come over here to the far right, I'm going to make a very saturated, rich color. If I come over here to the left, I'm going to choose white, black, shades of gray in between, and somewhere here in the middle are kind of more muted colors. And there we go. We just click over, and there we are. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and color these last 2 shapes here. Choose something different, and to delete, you just simply select a shape, press the delete key, and it's gone. You can also, when a shape is selected, you can come over here to the right, and right underneath fills is borders. And if you click on the little plus button over here on the right, you're going to add a border. So you'll see if I click off of it, you'll see that there's a really thin border. And that's because right now under borders, it says 1 pixel. I can go ahead and change that to say 10 pixels, and you'll see it's a much thicker border. And of course, I can change the color to be whatever I want. And there we go. You can hide the border. You can also delete the border by coming up here where it says borders and clicking on the garbage can. All right. So I'm going to show you just a few more things here for the basics, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so you'll see over here on the left-hand side, I now see all 3 layers, ellipse, rectangle, and rectangle. You can rename a layer, just like you would in any other app, by simply double-clicking on it, and I could go ahead and call this green square. Okay, there you go. You can also right-mouse click on any layer, and you can go ahead and rename it. Although now that I'm looking at it here, I cannot rename it. So it's just a double left click. All right, so there we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this square here, and I'm gonna overlap it a little bit. Okay, so you'll see that the layers here, that the ellipse is on the top of the layer stack. And that means that it's on top of all 3 layers over here. If I wanna change the order of the layers, much like in other image editing programs, I simply left click, drag downward, and there we go. I've now reordered them, and you can see that the circle or the ellipse is underneath. And of course, I can put it at the very bottom of the stack by clicking it down there, and there we go. So you can reorder those just as you want. All right, the last thing I'm going to go ahead and show you is how to combine shapes. So I'm just going to cover combining shapes really quickly. Combining shapes can make some really interesting combinations, but this is just an introduction. So when you combine shapes, it's called making a compound shape. So I'm going to go ahead and let's put this one up here. So to combine shapes, you have to select two or more shapes. So I'm simply going to left mouse click and drag a selection box around these two shapes. And then when I let go, they're both selected. When two shapes are selected, you can come up here to the buttons bar, and this button right here, I'm going to click on the little downward arrow, and you have 4 different ways of combining them. So if you mouse over each one, it'll show you a little animation. So the first one is called union, and they will go ahead and join together. So you can see that they were now, they're joined together into one shape. Okay, so you see that they're one shape. And of course, I can go ahead and change the color to whatever I want. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. Select them again and go to the next one, and that's called subtract. And as you can see, it subtracted the shape that was on top. So it sort of made this pie shape, this Pac-Man shape. Actually, it looks like it selected the shape that was underneath, which was the circle. If I go ahead and I take the ellipse and I put it on top of the green square, I'll select them both, and then I'll choose subtract. You can see that the shape that was on top, which was the green square, actually the green square was on the bottom, it took it away. So whatever shape is on top, it's going to subtract. Okay, so that's kind of the rule there. Again, you can't get it wrong too many times. All right, I'm going to select them again. I'm going to choose intersect now. And intersect does kind of like what you think. It takes the one area that's overlapping between the two shapes, and that's all that it keeps. I'll go ahead and undo. And I'll do the very last one, which is difference, and that is the opposite of intersect. So I'll click it again, and you'll see that it basically kept everything except for the area that was overlapping. I personally don't use that particular one very often, but it's kind of cool that it's there. The very last thing I will show you is over here under undo. You can click on the undo arrow and it will undo the last handful of actions. But if you click on the little arrow here, you can actually go ahead and try going back in steps. But let's try this. If I go back several steps, it's going to tell me that it's going to tell me that's a pro feature. So unfortunately, that is a pro feature. So for those of us using the free feature, we just have to click undo multiple times. And there we go. Okay. The very last thing I'll show you is that you can make a compound shape. And when I combine these, I'll go ahead and do a subtraction. When I combine them, you'll see that over here under the layers, it is a compound shape. And you can still see the individual shapes. So now I'm going to take this compound shape, bring it over here to this purple rectangle. I'll overlap it. And again, I can select these, and then I can click on the create compound shape, and I can do something interesting here, like create a intersection or something like that. All right, I hope this helps you out for this tutorial. I will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.